Welcome to Health Coach for Women. Intentional living for more happiness and fulfillment in your everyday life with your host, Marsha Roopchand-Walker. Join Marsha as she shares her own personal wellness journey, as well as stories from our guests that will enlighten and inspire you to move towards better health and happiness. Now, here's your host, Marsha Roopchand-Walker.
Hello. Welcome to another episode of Health Coach for Women. Today, I want to talk to you about fear. And so today's topic is something I think really needs to be talked about because so many people are living in that state, in that emotional state of fear. And so that's what led me to want to bring up this topic today. So when fear becomes a choice. So some may agree and some may not agree that fear is actually a choice. Now we know that fear is an emotion, right? And fear is a low vibration frequency, okay? And so some people, well, what are you talking about? When someone is happy, right? When someone is overjoyed and just excited with love and happiness, right? There's a different vibration. So you've heard of the saying, cool vibes, right? That's not just a saying, right? It's vibrations, your energy. It's like a radio station, right? And so you have maybe the frequency of the radio, the station. In some places you get a bad connection in some areas, and it starts to fade out. Especially if you're taking road trips, right? That happens when you're moving from those towers. The frequency, the station, and whatever you listen to becomes less and less. It starts to fade out, right? Because the frequency is less now. And so it's kind of like, in a sense, like a lower frequency, and so to speak, but you're moving away from those towers. So now you're hearing less of that station, and then you may pick up another frequency station of another radio station closer towards where you are going. And so that's the comparison that I want to make. But fear is an emotion, and it is also where it have us operating from a place of poor decision making, irrational. We're hasty in our decision making. We're irrational sometimes because we are just dealing with this maybe anxiety or whatever it is that we're experiencing at that time. We feel like we have to do something now because of the outcome of fear of this happening, and we don't want that to happen. So we have to understand that the only thing that truly matters and what's truly important is love. And so when I say that, you're probably saying, well, love, well, isn't love also an emotion, right? Hatred is an emotion, anger, right? It's an emotion. We feel anger, we feel resentment, but when we feel love, that has a more powerful positive effect. When we express more love. And so that's what fear does. When we choose to be, we always have a choice. Remember that we always have a choice. The divine has given us the power of free will, and to use that free will as we please. And so when we are choosing to live in fear, we're making a conscious decision. Well, some may say it's conscious or unconscious, and that is because of the programming that's been imposed upon us, right? And so when we look at the news, if we turn on the news, if I was to turn on my television right now, you're going to hear about all these things, the bad things that are happening, right? With either the different variants of the virus, the chaos that's going on in the Ukraine right now, things that's happening all over the world right now as I speak. Things are happening all over the world. And so, but we have to really, it's about shifting that mindset. And it's not easy. I'm not going to say that it's easy, because when you've been operating for that in that place for so long, it becomes a little bit more challenging. And so that's why you have to, that is why, you have to uh, keep yourself activated, keep yourself involved in things that only benefits you and serves you, right? Things that only serves you and brings you goodness, improves your wellness, improves your mental state, improves your emotional state, right? Improves those areas of your life where it impacts your overall wellness and your health. That's important. So when a person is able to impose fear, when an individual or individuals, organization, whatever, isn't able to invoke fear in a person, they are able to control them. And so what that does is fear allows for manipulation, right? It allows for manipulation. It allows for control, which I've already mentioned. It's draining energy, right? It drains the person who is living in this state, who's living in this state of fear. It actually drains them. And what ways does it drain them? It drains them emotionally, right? It may drain them mentally. And though the two are connected, it may drain them physically in their bodies, right? As well as spiritually. And it's all connected, right? And it's not separate, because we are part of the whole. We are part of that whole part of who we are, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and even in some cases financially, right? And because fear can also invoke areas in that life to finances, right? And so if you were to hear that, okay, now we are on lockdown again, you have to stay at home, or um, people are about to get laid off, there's going to be a major layoff, or even worse, we're freezing the federal government, whatever they're doing something where they're freezing all assets on your bank account, right? And your financial institutions, everything is being frozen right now because there's some glitch in the system. And so you're not able to access your money, right? And that's actually happened, won't even mention the bank, but that actually happened where some people weren't able to access their money. And so that can be frightening, right? That can be a scary feeling. So we have to be able to really be able to place ourselves and put ourselves in a place of well-being, a positive well-being, so that we can improve ourselves. And where does it begin? It begins in the mind. It begins in that mindset, because we know that thoughts do impact and manifest our reality. And so everything that we don't want and we fear, we bring more of that to us. And everything that we want and we desire, and we have this intention of the things that we want, right? Let's say speaking positively on something that we want by expressing gratitude, right? Saying thank you, and operating from a place of love rather than fear. And so if you can learn to do that, let me just say this. When we think, for those who believe in a higher power, source, whatever name anyone choose to create or call him, the creator of all, the divine. I'll say the divine, the creator of all, the divine, source, whatever you believe in, right? This higher intelligence is operating from there's a frequency of love, right? And so we know that if you are a believer, you know that the divine, the creator of all, wants nothing but good for us. And we have to believe that. And so, but if you don't believe it, it will never be real for you, because you don't believe it. And it's not just saying it, right? It's not just saying it. You have to actually really truly believe it. So when you learn to operate from a place of love rather than fear, you don't fear the things that you see on the news. You don't fear certain things that can happen throughout life, because it happens, right? And so things happen in life. Some things are out of our control, but being able to maneuver and adapt to the twists and turns of life, that is how we are going to make it through during this time. That is how that we are able to push forward during this time that we are here. We need to focus on that. And so one way of doing that is by, setting your intentions for the day, right? One way of moving out of a fear frequency into a love frequency, or vibration, or whatever, or love energy, whatever you want to, whatever wording that you want to use. How can we do that? We can start off by saying thank you, right? Expressing gratitude. And I'm always talking about gratitude. Okay. Start off by expressing some gratitude, saying thank you, being grateful for the things that you have right now and for where you are right now, the present moment. Another thing is your prayer and or your meditation, right? When you pray, be intentional about your prayer. When you're meditating, be intentional about your meditation. Maybe you can say some words of affirmation to probably try to convince yourself of what you're actually saying. So could you have to convince yourself that what you're saying is real, and you believe it. It's not saying it and then yet you're still holding on to the fear, right? You're still holding on to that fear. You have to shift your perception, shift your view, shift your mindset into something more beneficial that is serving, right? That is serving for you. You have to be able to do that. What about journaling? Right? Writing, it's okay to express your emotions and what you're feeling, right? You journal, be able to express what you're truly feeling, your true thoughts, your true inner thoughts of what you're feeling. No one's there to read it except for you. It's your own thoughts and what you're expressing, and you're releasing that, and by expressing it and journaling it. And once you do that, you may find some joy in that. You may find it to be beneficial for you. So what are some of the expressing gratitude, right? Saying thank you, being grateful, appreciative of where you are now, right? Your prayer, being intentional, having that conviction in when you're praying or meditating, right? You set out with an intention of what you want. Your affirmations, right? Today I'm choosing love over fear. Start out with that. Today I'm choosing love over fear. That is what I'm choosing today. Today I choose to operate from a place of love rather than fear. Today I will not allow anyone's negative thoughts or negative views impact my life, impact me in a way that's not serving or beneficial. You can do that, right? So I talked about the affirmations, your prayer, your meditation, gratitude, journaling. What are some other things that we can do? Movement in our bodies, right? You're feeling down, you might be feeling a little blah. You'll be surprised what some movements can do to move your body. And so you move, if you know that, you already know that we're electric, right? And if you don't know, you should know that if you touch somebody and you get that little electrical shock, right? And we have billions of neurons in the brain throughout the body, all right? So if there's we have electricity in our bodies. We are electric, therefore we are energy. So I want you to understand that everything that we do, everything that we say, we need to be intentional about it. We need to be intentional, and we have to believe it. Right? We have to say what we mean and mean what we say. So believe it. Whatever you're saying, whatever you're putting out there, believe it, right? And so when you're operating from a place of love, we're not sitting in a place of the emotion of the fear. We're not sitting in a place of emotion, of anger, resentment. And that's what having emotional maturity is, being able to handle those emotions. And one of those emotions is fear. And so we cannot be manipulated by what we see and hear on the television. It's okay to be informed, right? And there's nothing wrong about that, nothing wrong with being informed, but are your sources relevant sources, right? Sometimes we have to do our own research. We have to do our own homework. And so don't just take what someone tells you, research it for yourself. A lot of the information that we search for over the internet is censored. And if you don't know that by now, it's censored. And so certain things you won't find. That's why I always tell people, read a book. If you don't even have time to read a book, you can download Audible, right? You can listen to it maybe on your way to work. Pick a good book that you like to learn about, a good topic of whatever you want to learn about, and download the app on Audible. I think they may give you a free trial and even allow you to listen to the first few chapters of a book. So you can start to shift those ideas and beliefs that you have by doing things like that. Going outside your research of Google and actually reading a book. And it does great for your brain as well. Learning new information helps get new for you to obtain new brain cells, right? And so we improve our brain power with doing things like that, learning new information. And so we need to be able to do that. We need to be able to break free from what we are in right now, And I say that because I talked about spiritual warfare before, because since this whole, I really hate to even talk about it over and over, with this whole thing with the virus and everything like that. What has it done is cause a division, right? It's caused a division. First we had religion, the division of religion, right? This person may dislike this person because of their faith and what they believe, and it's still going on today, right? It's still happening today in the Middle East, right? It's still happening today. But what happens when we separate ourselves? We create a division. There's no unity. We create a division rather than being united as a whole. And if we can begin to see that we are not separate, and see, that's the key. If you begin to understand and see that we are not separate, yes, we may look different, right? My skin may have a little bit more melanin than someone else, right? And someone else may have a little bit more melanin than me. And maybe this one, from where they're from, their features are a little different. And maybe where this person is from, or this part of the world, their features may be different and their language is different. It's different from ours. But does that make us separate, or just different in the way we look in our physical appearance? But in the inside, the organs are still the same, right? Each of us, we have a heart, we have a blood, right? Which is the same color. We all bleed blood. And we all have the things that we need that is important for us to continue to be in existence in this physical body. And so don't fall for the hype, right? Don't fall for the division of keeping us separate. See it as us being a whole. See it and know that we are more than what we appear to be. We're much more, because that we are spiritual beings. I don't know if you believe in that or not, but we're spiritual beings. We are. And so you have to really ponder on something and see if you can begin to really see past this illusion right, of what they want us to see, and start seeing the truth. Start seeing the truth. And I believe that is happening now in various cultures. I've talked about this before, various cultures, different religious beliefs. People are beginning to wake up and see the truth. So when we can see the truth, right, the veil is now lifted. And when the veil is lifted, you can no longer be duped. And so that emotion of fear is gone, right? The emotion of fear is gone. And when you start operating from that place of love rather than fear, you will see that you have nothing to worry about. All right, nothing to worry about. Yes, of course, we do have to take precaution and be mindful of certain things, right? And so if you don't know that germs exist on the skin, there's different types of bacteria that's on the skin all the time. So we have to practice hand washing. We need to still not be in fear when someone is don't share, and I'll use this, when someone don't share the same ideas or views as yourself. And it's okay, because if we all thought the same and if we all believe the same thing, then where is that innovation, that creativity? Where is that thinking outside of the box, right? Because we're all limited to just one way of thinking. And I'm all about learning from other cultures and diversity, because I'm no better than you. You are no better than I. We are two people from two different parts of the earth, but yet we can still come together and have a conversation, right? And we can enlighten one another on different things. And that's the beautiful thing that I love about culture, diversity, and meeting new people. I love it. But I don't want to go off the topic too much. I want you to understand, when I say be in this place of love, and which I've came up with an acronym for, as to focus on self, right? Focus on self, right? Seeking elevations of love frequency. Seeking elevations of love frequency. So when you focus on self, when you focus on yourself, focus on that. Because the divine is love. The divine is one. The divine is whole, right? Which includes all of us, not just this particular group of people, not just this particular group of people, not just this religion or that religion, right? At the end of the day, the divine, the creator of all, loves each and every one of us. Remember, we have free will. We have free will. We were given that beautiful gift of free will, right? And so when we choose to live in fear, what are you really saying? What are you really saying about the divine, right? He hasn't given us the spirit of fear. We should be walking in the spirit of love, right? We walk in the spirit of love, right? And that's what the divine wants for us, to walk in the spirit of love, because we all come from one source, and that's the divine. We come from one source. And so I will use a tree, for example, and let's take a look at a tree. It's one tree stump, right? One tree trunk. Yet there are so many branches, and one branch can have another extension of branches, right? One branch can have an extension of many branches, right? With all these different leaves and branches on it. Yet it comes from one. So there are different branches on the tree. There are different branches on the tree. And I even learned that even trees can have a mutation as well. right? Even a tree can, I'm probably going off topic on this one, but even a tree can have a mutation. Same tree, but a totally separate, some type of mutation where something else is now growing out of it. But the message here is that there's one tree. There's one tree with many branches, many different branches on this one tree. And when we understand that, we can break free of this fear that's been imposed upon us, and trust the process and trust the divine, and know that you are supported, you're loved, you're guided, and you're worthy, and good is meant for you. But if you believe that only bad is meant for you, only bad outcomes, terrible outcomes is what's meant for you, then so be it. Then that's what it will be. And I also understand that we will go through different trials and different periods of our lives because it's meant to strengthen us, right? And then there is sometimes there's a greater purpose that we may not know at the time. We may not know that at the time. And so that's why it's so important. It's so important to stay in that area of self, which is that acronym, my apologies, of self, right? Seeking elevations of love frequency. That's so important. That's so important. So maybe if you can use that to help you on your journey, to help you battle that anxiety that you may be experiencing and going through a rough time. Focus on that. Focus on your breathing. Focus on your breath, right? And when you feel in that moment of being anxious, focus on your breath. And remember to take care of the temple. Remember to take care of the temple in the body that you are in, to take care of that temple of yours, right? And it's not fear. If you love yourself, why are you continuously eating junk? Why are you continuously choosing to put food in your mouth that you know that is unhealthy for you? Why are you continuing to do that? Sometimes you have to just sit back and ask yourself why. We continue, what is the saying? To continue doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. That's insanity. That's insanity. So we have to learn to do something different. And so when it comes to your health, and I'm talking about things, listen, if you've been on my YouTube channel, following my YouTube channel for a while, you understand that I'm not always going to be talking about healthy leafy greens, doing your exercise. There's more to us as well. And those things, don't get me wrong, these things are important, right? So I'm dealing with the person as a whole, that whole person of who they are, that whole being, right? And so it's not just eating your veggies, eating more fruits and vegetables, right? It's not just take care of your physical body, do some movement, right? It's not just that. It's more than that. We need to take care of all the areas of our lives that needs nourishing. And by doing so, it brings harmony, right, to the person, bringing more harmony into the person's life. By focusing on, you're not always going to devote the same time to it. Oh, I'm going to devote 30 minutes of affirmations and 30 minutes to prayer and 30 minutes. That's not what I mean. It can be different for each person, right? And so ask yourself, what areas are you lacking that needs nourishing? What areas are you lacking that needs nourishing? Is it your social connection right now? Being that we can't really connect as much as we would like to during this time, and we can't travel to certain places without certain documentation in order for us to travel. So, you have to know what is it that you are lacking in that needs nourishing, and then devote more time to that. So it could be more, it could be your spirituality, it could be that, right? And so you already know one of the things that to connect more with through your spirituality is focus with your meditation, right? Focus on connecting with the higher power, right? Connecting with that higher power and getting to know yourself. Getting to know yourself is the key. That is the key. And so when I say self, seeking elevations of love frequency, when I say self, seeking elevations of love frequency, when you focus on that, your connection is so much higher. Your awareness is so much higher, where you will no longer, or you will do your best, you will lessen your attention on focusing on the things that doesn't serve you, right? Fear, anger, bitterness, resentment. We need to be self-aware in order to bring us to that place of where we are striving to go, to be elevated, right? To a new level, to a higher level. And that's what it's all about. It's not about being perfect. It's not about, how many views, how many likes I get, how many people are actually listening. For me, I don't care if I have one person that is listening to me every day or once a week or whatever, or one person that I'm really resonating and touching home with them. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. It only takes one person to make a difference. And so for me, I feel that I am living my purpose and my full potential of what I was meant to do. And so, and you can do that as well. Whatever your calling is, whatever your divine calling is that is meant for you, you can do that as well. Once you have to get out of this place of the fear, you have to get out of that place and move towards love. Because what is love, right? Love is kind. Love is compassionate. Love is empathetic. It's good. It's unity, right? And it's caring, and it's sharing, and it's elevating. It's all of those beautiful things. And if we can move towards that, we are on the right path. We're on the right path. And understand that we are all connected, from the trees, the birds, the animals, all of the animals, even the animals in the sea, right? We're all connected because one thing impacts the other. One thing affects the other. And then I can go off on a tangent on all of that, right? I can go off on a tangent on the overfishing in the oceans and the pollution of plastics. I can go off on a tangent on so many things. But how could you not care? It's like, how could you neglect your body, right? And so the same thing is, we're doing the same thing of where we are here on this planet. How can we neglect certain things that's happening on the planet? How can we be neglectful of that? This is where you live. This is the planet that we're on, that we're living on. So how could you be neglectful of that? So take care of your body, take care of the earth that you live on, to the trees that helps us in getting clean air. It should matter to you. It should matter to you. It should be of importance. And maybe you're not there yet, and that's okay. Maybe you are there. Maybe you are, you really fully understand the world that we are in right now. And it's not a bad place. It's just full of people who have other agendas to not do right by the people, not do right by the planet, for their own self-serving reasons of profits, power, control. So that is all I have for now. I want you to just stay in a mindset of shifting your mindset and being able to improve your mindset with more positive way of thinking and improved mindset, and so that we will not operate from this place of fear, which we can then be controlled, manipulated, and zap our energy, right? Zap our whole emotional and mental health, right? And taking care of our bodies. Because while we are stressed and depressed, we are causing changes in our bodies, right? We're causing physical changes to happen in our bodies when we are focusing on the fear and the stress that is going on in our bodies, and we need to pay attention to that. You may see it, you may not even be paying attention. And so that's why it's so important to tune in to all of yourself, all of you. Tune into your body, why you are getting this pain, maybe in your shoulder. Tune in to your body. And that's what meditation helps you do. All right. I don't care if you're just sitting there, close your eyes and take a deep breath. Just close your eyes, take a deep breath in your body several times. Just sit into it and feel, pick up on your senses. What is your body telling you? Where do you notice certain things in your body? And be more mindful and pay attention to that, right? Now, we don't pay attention to certain things, but there's a lot when we focus on fear and being stressed and angry and depressed. Like I said, we are causing changes in our bodies. We are causing chemical changes to occur in our body, hormonal changes to occur in our body. That is unhealthy. That is unhealthy. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Be more mindful, be more grateful, be more expressive and intentional. Be more intentional on the things that you desire and that you wish to have for yourself. It's there for you already. You just have to see it and believe it. That's all I have for you for now. Bye. Until next time. Thank you for watching or listening. If you're on any of the other platforms that I'm on, please like, subscribe, share. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Stay present, stay well. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for listening to Health Coach for Women with your host, Marsha Roopchand-Walker. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please be sure to rate, subscribe, and review on your preferred podcast listening platform. We really appreciate that effort. Until next time.